the great state of Wisconsin. And God bless Governor Scott Walker. How's that for some breaking news this morning? Let me say, Governor Scott Walker is a strong, principled conservative. Governor Walker, with the help of the men and women gathered here today and all across this state, won an election, and then another election, and then another election. And when Scott stood up to the union bosses, when Scott saw death threats and attacks and protests and anger and yells, millions of men and women all across the state of Wisconsin stood with Governor Scott Walker. And y'all's heroic stand together inspired millions across the country. It inspired me. It showed that when we, the people, stand up together, we can beat the special interests that are bankrupting our kids.
Cruz, the patriot.
Let me tell you, I am humbled to be in the presence of patriots who we are all fighting for this country we love so much. And the courage, the principle that was demonstrated and is demonstrated every day by Scott Walker, by the men and women of Wisconsin, we need that courage, we need that principle in Washington, D.C., taking on the special interests. Be with patriots like Senator Dewey Strobel, fighting for the men and women of Wisconsin each and every day. And how about Carla? Isn't she fantastic? Such an incredible business leader, rose to the pinnacle of business. She's strong, she's inspirational, and let me tell you, that woman gives Hillary Clinton nightmares. I can just picture Hillary thinking about Carter and tossing and turning and tossing and turning in her jail cell. Because we're bankrupting our kids and grandkids. Our constitutional rights are under assault. America has receded from leadership in the world. And yet I'm here this morning with a word of hope and encouragement. All across Wisconsin, all across this country, people are waking up and help is on the way. This election is going to come down to three critical issues: jobs, freedom, and security. Let's talk jobs. Let me take a minute to talk to all the single moms who are here, who are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs, who've had your hours forcibly reduced to 28, 29 hours a week because Obamacare kicks in at 30 hours. Let me talk to all the truck drivers, all the plumbers and electricians and mechanics, all the steel workers and union members with calluses on your hands, who've seen your wages stagnating year after year after year. Cost of living keeps going up, so somehow your paycheck doesn't seem to keep pace. Let me talk to all the young people. Coming out of school, student loans up to your eyeballs. Scared. Am I going to get a job? What does the future hold for me? And you know, the media tries to tell us this is as good as it gets. This is the new normal. Well, let me tell you, that is a complete and utter lie. You know, it's easy to talk about making America great again. You can even print that on a baseball cap. But the real question is, do you understand the principles and values that made America great in the first place? The heart of our economy, it isn't Washington, D.C. The heart of our economy is small businesses all across the United States of America. You want to see the economy take off, it's real simple. Take the boot of the federal government off the back of the necks of small business. Let me read to you from a president of the United States. This president, in an address to the nation, said, quote, "Our tax rates, in short, are so high as to weaken the very essence of the progress of a free society. For these reasons, this administration intends to cut taxes in order to build the fundamental strength of our economy, to remove a serious barrier to long-term growth, to increase incentives by rooting out inequities and complexities, and to prevent the even greater budget deficit that a lagging economy would otherwise surely produce." Anyone know who that president was? John F. Kennedy in 1962. Can you imagine those words coming out of Barack Obama's mouth? I think if he started saying it, you'd see his aides scampering away because they'd be afraid lightning was about to strike. Today's Democratic Party is no longer the party of JFK. If I'm elected president, we will repeal every word of Obamacare. We'll pass common sense health care reform that makes health insurance personal and portable and affordable and keeps government from getting in between us and our doctors. And we will pass a simple flat tax. Where every American can fill out our taxes on a postcard. We do that, we should abolish the IRS. We're going to rein in the EPA. And the federal regulators who have descended like locusts on small businesses, killing jobs all across this country. We're going to stop amnesty and secure the borders and end sanctuary cities and end welfare benefits for those here illegally. Let me tell you the effect of all of that. The effect of all of that, we're going to see millions and millions of new high-paying jobs. We're going to see manufacturing jobs coming back to Wisconsin. We're going to see jobs coming back from China, coming back from Mexico. We're going to see wages going up for millions of Americans across this country. And we're going to see young people coming out of school 3, 4, 5 job opportunities. That's what this election is about. Morning in America. We can have it again if we get back to what built it in the first place. Second critical issue in this election is freedom. You know, just a few weeks ago, the passing of Justice Scalia underscored the stakes of this election. It's not one but two branches of government that hang in the balance. We are one liberal justice away from a radical 5-justice left-wing majority, the likes of which this country has never seen. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court effectively stripping religious liberty from millions of Americans. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court effectively erasing the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court making us subject to the World Court and the United Nations and international law and giving up U.S. sovereignty. Now, you know, 2 debates ago, we were asked a question about religious liberty in the Supreme Court. And Donald Trump turned to me and said, "Ted, I've known a lot more politicians than you have." Well, in that he is correct. Donald Trump has been supporting liberal, democratic politicians for 40 years. I have no experience doing that. But you know, Donald continued, he said, "Ted, when it comes to religious liberty, when it comes to the Supreme Court, you got to learn to compromise. You got to learn to cut deals with the Democrats to go along to get along." Well, let me be very, very clear to the men and women of Wisconsin. I will not compromise away your religious liberty. And I will not compromise away your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. Third critical issue in this election is security. For 7 years, we have seen a president that abandons our friends and allies and that shows weakness and appeasement to our enemies. Again, 2 debates ago, Donald Trump explained if he were president, he would be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. Well, let me be very, very clear. As president, I will not be. America will stand unapologetically with the nation of Israel. And you know, anyone who can't tell the difference between our friends and our enemies, anyone who can't tell the difference between Israel and Islamic terrorists who want to murder us, that raises real questions about their fitness and judgment to be commander-in-chief. You know, just last week we saw a horrific terror attack in Brussels. And I have to say, it was very inconvenient for President Obama. After all, he was at a baseball game with the Castros. Well, don't forget, he was also doing the tango. And over again, we've seen this president following a terror attack in Paris, following a terror attack in San Bernardino, go on national television and refuse even to say the words radical Islamic terrorism. Instead, what does he do? He lectures all of us on Islamophobia. Well, enough is enough. president who stands up and defends America. In the last 7 years, we've seen our military weakened. We've seen readiness degraded. We've seen morale of the troops plummet. And you know what? As a nation, we've seen this before. We've seen another left-wing Democratic president, Jimmy Carter, do the same thing, weaken and undermine the military. And then in January 1981, Ronald Reagan came into office. And what did Reagan do? Reagan cut taxes. He lifted regulations. We saw small businesses explode, millions of new high-paying jobs. That generated trillions in new government revenue. And Reagan used those trillions to rebuild the military, and we bankrupted the Soviet Union and won the Cold War. I intend to do the exact same thing with radical Islamic terrorism. We're going to repeal Obamacare and pass a flat tax and pull back the regulators and stop amnesty. And that's going to create millions and millions of new high-paying jobs, manufacturing jobs back to America. That's going to generate trillions in new government revenue, and we will use that revenue to rebuild this military so that it remains the mightiest fighting force on the face of the earth. No longer will our military be governed by political correctness. And one of the saddest aspects of the last 7 years is this president sending our fighting men and women into combat with rules of engagement so strict that their arms are tied behind their backs, that they cannot fight, they cannot win, they cannot defeat the enemy. That is wrong. It is immoral. And mark my words, in January 2017, it will end. America has always been reluctant to use military force. We are slow to anger. But if and when military force is necessary, we should use overwhelming force, kill the enemy, and then get the heck out. So the election in Wisconsin is 1 week from today. And Wisconsin is a battleground. The entire country is focused on the state of Wisconsin. This state has a national platform, a national megaphone, and right now in the state of Wisconsin, it's neck and neck. Donald Trump and I are effectively tied in the state of Wisconsin. That means... Now, you know what we should be doing is any candidate running for president owes it to the men and women of the state to come in front of you, to look you in the eyes, to answer your questions, and to actually debate. Now, our friend Donald finds debates very, very stressful. They make his hair stand on end. And so, Donald, we had a debate a couple of weeks ago, and Donald said, no, that I heard Megyn Kelly was coming. She's really frightened. So Donald ran away from that debate. Well, tonight, CNN has 2 back-to-back town halls. I've got an hour, Donald Trump has an hour. Now, we're in the same location. They've got the TV cameras. They've got the moderators. They've got the audience. Back to back. The one thing that's missing is the Donald. I have suggested for the last 2 days, Donald, why don't we combine them? Have a 2-hour, one-on-one debate, you and me on the same stage. If you find Anderson Cooper to be as scary as Megyn Kelly, then I've got a simple suggestion. How about we simply take questions from the audience, do a town hall from the men and women of this town. But there's a reason Donald doesn't want to debate. Donald prefers to communicate in 140 characters or less. Donald liked the debates where there were 10 or 11 of us standing on stage, because when everyone's got 30 seconds or 60 seconds, anyone can read 30 seconds of talking. But the problem is when you get beyond 30 seconds and you talk about, okay, how do we fix the problems in America? Donald doesn't have any answers. He talks about jobs. Listen, we all agree we want more jobs. Donald, how do we get more jobs in America? Donald's answer is we wave the magic wand and we sprinkle pixie sticks. We simply start winning and winning and winning. Okay, Donald, how does one do this? I don't know. I was saying winning and winning and winning. Don't get in my way. Listen, if your car is broke down, do you want your next door neighbor to wander over, stand in your driveway, and begin yelling and screaming and cursing at the car? Or do you actually want someone to lift the hood and fix the engine? The people of Wisconsin deserve a real debate. Let's talk about where jobs come from. They don't come from lobbying Washington. They come from small businesses. Let's talk about small businesses. Let's have a real discussion. Let's have a real discussion about how we're going to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. About who they are, what they're trying to do, what tools we need, how we keep America safe. That's what the people of Wisconsin deserve. But you know what? Donald's absence speaks even louder than his presence. The people of this state have the judgment to know these are serious times. These are real threats. People are hurting in America. And we need real solutions. We can do this together. If we stand together and fix the problems, if we stand together and fight for jobs and freedom and security. Here, you have a national platform. I want to ask every one of you not just to come out and vote on Tuesday, but to pick up the phones and call your friends and your neighbors and your loved ones and your co-workers and say, this election matters. It matters to me, it matters to my kids, it matters to my grandkids. I want to ask every one of you to vote for me 10 times. Now look, we're not Democrats. I'm not suggesting voter fraud. But if every one of you gets 9 other people to vote on Tuesday, you will have voted 10 times. And you know, maybe you're not yet old enough to vote. You know, if you get 10 other people to come out and vote on Tuesday, you will have voted 10 times before you turn 18. That's how we win. That is how this election will be decided, not with the silliness on TV, not with the silliness on Twitter. This election will be decided friend to friend, neighbor to neighbor, pastor to pastor. Each of you talking to your friends and loved ones. It took Jimmy Carter to give us Ronald Reagan. And I am convinced the most long-lasting legacy of Barack Obama is going to be a new generation of leaders in the Republican Party who stand and fight for freedom, who stand and fight for the Constitution, and who stand and fight for the Judeo-Christian values that built this great nation.